Welcome to 2 Minutes of Gaming, where we talk about the month's biggest video game topics for 2 minutes at a time. I'm your host, Keenan, and today I'm joined by...
Justin. Hi, everybody. How you doing?
We got a fun show today. As you can see on the screen, we got a really funny, maybe not funny topic, because I'm sure there was a lot of trauma involved, but I'm going to give you my interesting perspective on it. So for those who haven't heard, there was a robbery, multiple robberies at GameStop. They finally caught the guy. For those who don't know, he took $131,000 of merchandise and money. The interesting thing, Justin, was $130K was all merchandise, and he only took $1,300 in cash. And I believe it was 4 different GameStops that he robbed. So, Justin, what's your thoughts on this GameStop bandit?
Like you said, it's not funny. It could be a very traumatic experience. So I just want to throw that off the bat. It's just the nature of the crime that's kind of hilarious. It's like, dude, like he didn't go. He just robbed games. I'm assuming game and memorabilia. It's like
it's really weird.
This is like it's a weird crime that someone's going around just robbing video game stores. It's like, man, when you talk petty crooks, this is definitely one of the pettiest, man. Just first of all, to anyone who's ever been robbed, trust me, I've been robbed myself. It's not a fun experience. It's very traumatic. It's very, so my heart goes out to those people that experienced it. Hopefully, guys, you get better. But to answer the question, ridiculous. And he got 10 years, rightfully so. But the fact that he didn't rob cash, what does that say about the GameStop stores and what they're earning these days?
Well, yeah, I think that says a lot too. And maybe in his defense, maybe he Googled something that said if he doesn't take cash, he would get less time in jail. I don't know. But unless he did that, he's a complete idiot, Justin, because he was trying to, like, can you believe, like, if somebody was walking into GameStop and he was like, yo, this is a stick up, right? And you're like, oh, man, take the money. And he's like, no, I don't want the money. Give me the PS4. Then the guy grabbed a PS3. He's like, no, I said PS4. It's like, what is wrong? Like, no, take the money. What do you – so, Justin, I don't know if you heard this. He actually stole a bunch of I think it was Switches, but so Nintendo tracked it down, and they found some of the Switches that the robber sold to other people. Now, I get the fact that you can steal like a $300 system and then sell it for like $200 or whatever, but you still got to do a bunch of work. So,
okay, before I know, we're going to go quick overtime first. His biggest mistake was taking Nintendo products. Nintendo is, like I always say it, Nintendo is the Disney of video games. They are going to come for you regardless, no matter how small and minuscule the crime is. Nintendo's coming for you.
And dude, my last thing is, like, you're leaving a paper trail, right? So for instance, if Justin, I steal something and I sell it to you and Sony and Nintendo track you, not to say you're a snitch, but if they say, hey, where'd you get this system? The police knock on your door, you're like, dude, I just bought this system from this guy named Keenan. I don't want no problems. Oh, who's Keenan? Done. Like, the more systems you sell, the more people that can snitch. You're gonna lose.
And it's just a stupid crime in the first place.
That's true too. All right, the more serious topic. Well, I guess that was serious too, but
it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah,
stupid crook.
Resident Evil 8. It's been a lot of leaks. Again, nothing confirmed here, people, but as you know, we're big Resident Evil fans. Justin is probably one of the biggest Resident Evil fans. Mm-hmm. You can talk more about it, but he's actually replaying all of the Resident Evils from zero. So that's pretty hardcore. But some of the rumors were they confirmed that it is going to be another, again, at least allegedly, another first-person perspective like 7 was, opposed to a third person like 2 and 3, the remake will be. And also, I don't know if you heard these, Justin. They said there's also going to be the return of zombies, werewolves, which is interesting. And they said, and a new stalker creature, which might be a ghost, following you through the house. So, Justin, what's your thoughts on this werewolf stuff?
Well, first off, the werewolf thing, I can kind of see that happening, mainly because that could just be an involvement from the dogs. I mean, we had hunters, so when it comes to monsters and stuff like that,
Kind
I
of
can
was.
see that happening.
Yeah.
That's totally Resident Evil. The Ghost is kind of a stretch, but it seems like they are still trying to do the original Resident Evil 4 idea when it comes to Leon exploring. Because I heard this one's supposed to be rumored into a castle, similar to what that Resident Evil 4 what was that test demo that they were gonna that concept demo they were gonna go for with Leon going away from a ghost. So I can kind of see that, and the fact that it's going to be in first person, I can see that as well. Just looking at the history of Capcom, what they did with 1, 2, and 3 was tank controls, 0's tank controls, and then you have 4, 5, and 6, which is more shooters, and now you have 7, 8, and possibly if they get to 9. That would be like the first person chapter. So I can see how Capcom will go back to the first person. And one more thing, yes, I am playing all the Resident Evils and started from 0, just finished it, doing 1, and then I'm gonna go to half of. I'm gonna go wait for half of 3, and then go to 2, and then finish 3.
That's pretty serious. Honestly, Justin, I'm not a big fan of the first person, man. And the reason why I didn't get 7 because I really felt like, again, I know the story, etc. Not to spoil anything, but it's not the Resident Evil experience that I want. You know what I'm saying? I want a third person perspective. I want limited ammo. I want to go and find ammo in a drawer somewhere. Like that's kind of my thing, and I think that I'm going to be really interested to see what they do. But honestly, I just don't feel like Ghosts and Werewolves. I feel like that's 2 different games there. Either you can do
Silent Hill.
Yeah, exactly. You can do like a first person with Ghosts, okay, or a third person with Werewolves. So we'll see. Should be a good one though. It's gonna be great regardless. I know it.
Yeah.
A lot of big delays, AAA delays, all kind of happen at once. We had Cyberpunk 77, which people are going crazy about that it's delayed. Pissed. Final Fantasy 7 Remake, which affected you and I a little more closer than any of the other ones, and Avengers, among a few others. Justin, what's your thoughts on these AAA delays? Do they mean much?
For me, Final Fantasy 1 month delay. I said this on my Facebook page, and all my friends text me. It's like, dude, this messes up my play schedule. Because as we get older, if there's anybody in the younger audience watching this, as you get older, you can't game as you used to. You have life responsibilities, so you literally have to make a gaming schedule when you're gonna play your games. So a lot of my friends took off that day, and I said this. I always say this: never take a day on a Square Enix release. They push it back all the time, especially an RPG. So the Final Fantasy, thankfully, is just 1 month delay. Not bad. As far as the Cyberpunk, I wasn't planning on getting it anyway, but I know a lot of my friends are, and they are pissed because it's September. So I can see why, especially if you pay for your pre-order and everything else like that. I get it, and this is why I don't pre-order ish at all. If I'm gonna pre-order, it's the day before the release so I can get the perks. But yeah, it's crazy. A lot of things are getting delayed, but it's to be expected. I think what they need to do is stop announcing an official date until it's ready.
Yeah, and that's the key, until it's ready. The Cyberpunk, you know what's funny, Justin? I never, when they had first announced the game's release date, I didn't think it was coming out that soon. And honestly, even September, I can see that even being delayed. They really didn't show a lot. I mean, they had that 48-minute gameplay trailer, a gameplay video, I guess, at E3. But when a game is like close to coming out, we see so much more footage, and it really didn't show a lot. Avengers, that didn't shock me, but I will say Final Fantasy hurt me because it's clashing with my Resident Evil schedule. So I literally had these games separated by months. And now there's going to be some overlap. So, hey, it's going to be a great game involved. All right, another fun news from CES. CES, we had a lot of weird news coming out of CES, and I think the biggest gaming news came from Alienware. They showed a new handheld, pretty much copying off the Switch, but this new handheld is not playing Nintendo games. They're going to play pretty much anything that your computer can play, your PC.
Yeah.
So we're looking at Steam. We're looking at obviously the what was the other store? Oh my God, I forgot the store name already. But anything your computer can play, this can play handheld as well as a dock mode. So Justin, what's your thoughts on this potential system that is prototyped here?
Well, I could say this for the people out there, do the shameless plugging. Now you can play Die in the Dark on the road.
I didn't expect that.
But yeah, but seriously, no, that's really good. You know, I will personally, as someone who has Steam and play Steam as much as I can when I get some gaming time, I will love this. I will absolutely love this to play my PC games handheld on the road like that. Like it's like similar to like the Nintendo Switch. That is a dream for me. Like, cause you saw my Steam library, I got a lot of games.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to replay some of those classics that's not backwards capability for the PS4 or the Xbox One or things like that. I would love to replay State of Decay, you know, things like that. I'm looking forward to it. And if it still has the same heart, my question is, how powerful will it be? Is it as powerful as a PC? That's the thing. So if it has that same processing power and that same type of customization, then yeah, I'm all for it. But it's very interesting because we know how other companies failed when they try to enter the handheld market and try to go against Nintendo. It doesn't end up well.
Nintendo is definitely the kings of the handheld. I think this is a genius idea. I think some of the biggest problems are going to be the more practical problems. I watched an interview with one of the developers, and he mentioned how he didn't really want to talk about battery life. Again, this is still a prototype, so it hasn't been officially announced. But the thing was, like, Justin, the battery is going to mean everything on this, right? If you only have an hour battery life, and again, as you progress and a year goes by, 2 years go by, that hour turns into 30 minutes, turns into 45 minutes, 40 minutes, you know, that could be a problem. So, and honestly, the system is huge. But here's the thing I think, Justin, my last note on this, Epic Game Store, that was the store I was thinking of earlier. They should partner with one of these handhelds, Alienwares or maybe another one. And then at that point, you'll have that seamless integration where, hey, here's an app for Steam, and I can just switch to my Steam. Here's an app for, you know, my Epic Game Store, and all my games are already there. A lot easier as opposed to just having like a PC setup. So we'll see. The Witcher has been a huge success on Netflix. So much so that they ordered an anime. One of the executives at Netflix is just going crazy of how popular the Witcher is. Justin, if you're the CEO of Netflix, one of the top executives, what's the next big gaming show on Netflix? Which franchise would you pull from gaming and bring it onto Netflix?
Gears of War.
Wow, I'm shocked to hear. I didn't think you were going to say that.
Gears of War, I think, will be better as an actual television show than movie. And I think just from the way the narrative and the storytelling and the production value, they can, especially with the way Netflix does their original TVs, they have some really good, at times, it's hit or miss. Let's be honest, a lot of trash original movie shows on Netflix, but from the ones that actually do have good production, like The Witcher, I'm not finished with it yet, but it's pretty decent. I think from a narrative standpoint, like certain video games don't really adapt well to movies because they're more better off being TV because there's so much lore in it. So if you can break it down to a couple of seasons, and Gears of War is 5 games, that's 8 seasons. I could see you doing 8 seasons right there, you know. And Batista wants to do it to play Marcus. Get Batista. Not only it'll be beneficial for him because he'll be getting those sweet royalty checks, but I think Gears of War will be a great Netflix edition.
Shout out to Mendez because he's smiling right now as he watches this because he loves Gears. But now, you know what? I'm going to go with Mass Effect. And I know recently I've fallen in love with Mass Effect really late, just as of recently. But imagine, Justin, do you remember when Black Mirror had that episode where you can actually select what's going to happen next? Imagine you're watching Mass Effect, and then something pops on the screen and says, which planet do you want to go to next? You know, do you want to kill this person or not? And you know, in Mass Effect, these things have, have a ripple effect, right? And then obviously not to spoil you too much, but what you chose in the beginning will affect the end. How many guys you have left to fight that antagonist, right? So I think having an interactive Mass Effect space travel show would be really cool. So, last topic of the day. You might think it's a repeat topic from last year's show, but it happened again. Sony announced that they will not be at E3 again. It hurts a little bit more this time because obviously PS5 will be announced at some point in the future. But Justin, if you're the president, CEO, executive running E3, what are you doing to fix it? Because it's going backwards right now.
Yeah, and first of all, I gotta say this. I might go a little bit over, so forgive me.
Last topic is all right.
I think what's happening here, and it's just not in just E3. This is happening with cons. Companies are pulling out of Comic Cons now. It's at the point that a lot of these companies, especially since they're merging a lot, and we're getting less and less. The pool is getting more smaller. So the pool is getting more smaller, but their revenue is getting bigger. So in other words, does Sony really need E3? No. Sony can hold their own conference. Nintendo can hold their own conference. Microsoft can hold their own conference. The big three do not need E3. They really don't. That's the truth. Google needs E3 because they have it with their Stadia, but they need E3 with Stadia.
I forgot Stadia existed, but E3. I forgot Stadia even existed, but continue.
How will I fix E3? First things first, give it back to the gamers. We were so focused on pop culture. You spend all these money, you invite all these celebrities who are not gamers at all these influencers who are not gamers at all. It's just because they have a certain amount of following that you guys invite them, like, oh, these guys have influence, or people like this person at the moment. Let them talk about this game they know nothing about. True gamers absolutely hate this. And I've seen, and it's not just them, it's a lot of the industry, comic industry. It's a trend. It's always been there. But you have to get back to what the core audience is. The more you alienate in your audience, the worse it gets. And not even that, they really messed up last year when they had the leak of all the journalists' information. When they had that little hack that happened, and you released the information of most of these journalists' attendees. So a lot of journalists are refusing to go cover E3 because of safety concerns. So E3 needs to get back to basics, and probably it could be cost effective too. They probably raise the price up to show your stuff. So why I'm gonna pay you all this money where I'm Sony, I'm a big platform, frankly, truthfully, I'm bigger than you. Why do I need you? Cut the middleman, let me hold my own event, and let me go to my customers directly.
Now, I totally agree. I think the E3 needs the big three, right?
Yes.
And if I'm E3, if I'm running it, I forget the ESF, not ESF, I forget who's running it. But nonetheless, what I'm doing is I'm either heavily discounting or giving them free space, because you need these guys to come to your show. You need Fox and ABC, etc., to say PlayStation 5 revealed at E3, right? So I'm doing that on one hand, but I'm still charging the third-party publishers to come, right? That's where I'm making most of my money. But also, too, I think them catering, having a special, and I know there's an indie section at E3, but having an indie team that gives you, because as an indie, I'm telling you, nobody has reached out. There's not really like very indie friendly opposed to like a PAX or something, right? So I'll become a little bit more indie friendly. But then on the opposite end, I would look at the customers and I would look at the press. I would have specific days, not hours, days where only press can go. Then I would have specific days where only the fans can go. And then at the same time too, I would sell tickets that are segmented and only for certain days and certain times. For instance, Justin, you would have to get a pass for Wednesday from 5 to 7, where I can get a pass from Thursday from 8 to 2 or whatever the time, 2 to 8. Because the thing is, Justin, if everybody has these passes for the same time, everyone's rushing in. Everyone's going in, and now the line's through the roof, right? And people keep telling me, hey, do you want to go to E3? I don't want to go to E3. Because when I did go to E3, Justin, every time I would go into a game, I was excited for a game, literally 30-minute minimum times to wait just to see if you enjoy the game, check it out. So I spent E3 like playing mostly like bad games. I was like, oh, nobody's in this line. They have to fix that. I mean, I was able to play, when I went Street Fighter 5 because I got there really early, literally when the doors opened. So there's so many different things that they can do to fix it. But you know what, Justin, what bothers me is that they're not really doing anything. They opened it up to the public, which made things worse a while ago, but that really pretty much did nothing. So I'm very disgusted. I think that there should be a new management running E3 because guess what? In 5 years, 10 years, we won't even be talking about E3 on this show.
I say 3 years. I'm predicting 3.
Yeah,
I don't even think we might get to 5. And not only that, they have to win the press over again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people were either doxxed. A lot of them were doxxed. A lot of them were harassed. Some of these journalists, I personally don't agree with the way they review games and stuff like that, but nobody deserves to have that type of risk and safety, especially when they have so much haters on them.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and the problem is everybody's trying so hard to be mainstream. I get it. Everybody's in the business to make money. Mm-hmm. I get it. You want to make money. You want to make the best revenue. You want to get the most far reach as possible, but not at the expense of your core base. That is like me going out there and start covering, I start covering rap music that has nothing to do with the topics that my website does, or music in general that has nothing to do with the topic at hand. I cover anime. No one wants you to write an article about Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I'm talking about. You lose your core audience when you try. I'm not saying you can't expand. Expansion is great, but you have to smartly expand. And a great example of that, before we go, I'll use wrestling. I'll use Chris Jericho. Perfect example for wrestling fans out there. Chris Jericho is an entrepreneur. Yes, he does his Fozzy thing, but what Jericho also done within the wrestling business with his cruise, he made a cruise for wrestling. Never been done. Expanding the business. He puts a bunch of indie guys on there to showcase them. Well, the first time was the indies. Now it's just AEW. But he what he did with that is that he expanded within his industry. E3 seems to just want to reach out, and like, I don't want to see a A-list actor who I know is not a gamer or anything like that, just there for the check and talking about how they've always been into gaming, because that's what they do at Comic-Con. I've been a comic book head all my life and never did nothing within comics or anything like that. It's like, we know you're just here for the check. I've interviewed people who always act like that, just like, hey, yeah, I love doing that, and you damn well know, like, you never pick up a comic book in your life, haven't you? So, it is what it is, man. But I think E3 is done.
Yeah. All right. Well, another great show. I appreciate everyone for listening and watching. Before we head out of here, any last words?
Be real, be safe, have fun.
Yeah, always good. Till next time.